You are listening to WCEGTalkRadio.com, the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. I'm Wardell Richardson, your show host for the next 2 hours on Wcegwood, the Hollywood of the South. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio. That's at WCEG_talk_radio. Call in or Skype us at 678-619-1402. That's 678-619-1402. Ask your questions, make your opinions, or voice your concerns. Let us hear from you at 678-619-1402. We're your 501c3 nonprofit community radio station. Please make your tax-deductible donations via our website or call our business office at 404-490-8646 to keep Quality Talk Radio on the air. Thank you in advance for supporting WCEGTalkRadio.com. Last but not least, the topic and opinions are the show hosts and guests and not those of WCEGTalkRadio.com. Penny put that in there because I be saying some stuff, right, Penny? I don't know. She trying to protect herself. Before I get into our special guest today, which I'm very excited about, I want to acknowledge that I went to the Black Women Film Industry event last night, the holiday party, and man, that was...
Hey.
I already got a call of somebody calling in. This is Wardell Richardson on Wcegwood. May I ask who's speaking? Hello?
Did we just get butt dialed?
I don't know.
Okay, it happened.
They'll probably call back. Once again, I went to the Black Women in Film holiday party last night, and I mean, I had a fabulous time. They honored some very great people that I know in this industry. It was a lot of fun. I just want to call out some of them because they are some of the people that you may recognize when you watch TV or anything like that. We got Brad James, who was honored, actor in American Soul, Carl Ulysses Bowen for Black Panther, Coco Brown for Better or for Worse, Dawn Halfkenny for Tales Season 2.
Yay!
Dennis L.A. White, actor of The Family Business. Jason Louder, Black Lightning. Jazzy Ellis, stunt woman for Avengers Infinity War. Karen Casey, actor for Stranger Things. Mark Casey, underwater camera tech for The Passage. Marquita Goings, actor in The Quad. Maxie McClintock, actor for Napoli Ever After. Marisha Grant for costume supervisor for Little. Priya Ferguson, I saw her, she's just the cutest little girl.
Adorable.
Actor for Stranger Things.
Yes.
Reese Odom, my good friend.
Yes.
Actor for Saints and Sinners. Raven Drummer, casting director for Nobody's Fool. Rhonda Baraka, director for Pride and Prejudice, Atlanta. Sir Brody, actor in Atlanta. Sean Baker, cool guy, actor for Tales. Stacy Quarterman, band music coordinator, Bounce Trumpet Awards. And Zarek Williams, actor for Game Night.
Nice.
I met all of them last night. They're all great people. You know, it was packed in there. I'm talking about wall to wall packed.
Yes.
It got so hot, but you know, that's what happened when we all fit in one little room. That's a big spot too, at the gathering spot. It's a huge place, but man, it was packed out. They brought in a good crowd. It was a lot of fun. Took a lot of pictures. It's still coming out. But next year, y'all make sure you catch that. That is a great event honoring us Black people who are doing some great things in this industry. And I have the honor of interviewing one of the biggest people in Atlanta.
That is too much.
I got let me see. I have to introduce you properly. You understand? Sharman Lee, actress, producer, and the CEO of Complete Package Entertainment, where I learned some of the most important things in acting. I took her class, and it was a very intense class, probably one of the hardest classes I ever took, but it was the best class I ever took because I learned so much from it. When we shot the movie The Last Time, which you were also a part of, a lot of people asked me, and I didn't get to say this during the movie, when they asked me, where did I learn, what did I have to do to get into my character and all that.
You did great work in that movie, by the way.
Thank
That
you.
was really
Thank
good
you
stuff.
so much. And the one thing I didn't say was, I took classes, and I took your class. And I want to say that right now to everybody. I learned so much from you because you put it on me in that class.
Well, I don't know if I want to be responsible for that domestic violence thing, that you was so convincing in, but okay, you welcome.
Hey, you
an honor.
taught me how to get there. You taught me how to dig within myself and to reach, further in myself to bring that character out. So I truly appreciate you for that.
Absolutely.
I had to say that
You
right
killed
here
it.
on the air.
You killed it. Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And thank you for being here. I know your schedule is super busy,
It's a little tight. It's a little tight.
but you made it here to this interview, and I'm so grateful that you made it.
Me too.
I want to start out, first of all, by I want you to let everyone know who you are, where you from, how you got where you are today.
Like, that's a short answer. So I am born and raised in Colorado,
Okay.
Denver. That only recently became a cool place to be from. Yeah, now everybody's wanting to go to Colorado.
All right.
But yeah, and then I spent about 20 years in Los Angeles before coming out here.
Okay.
And I've been here for about 10 years. And at 5 years old, I saw Shirley Temple on a movie, and she started crying, and she looked like she was about my age. And I turned to my mother, and I said, I can do that.
Really?
Yes. And coming from Colorado, there wasn't a lot going on as far as performing arts schools and the like. So I started with ballet, tap and jazz, dancing, and then I picked up a flute at 8. And so my mother knew enough to help me cultivate the artist in me until I finally got into high school. And then that's when acting, I got to dig in, and I was like, okay, yeah, I got
Wow.
it. This is it.
So you already had some background in dancing and like what type of dancing?
Like I said, ballet, tap, jazz,
Ballet,
and then
tap,
as I
okay.
matured and things started changing, hip hop, and
Okay.
I've even taken a couple pole. I took a class, sir. It was a class, but I'm open to every African dance. Like I just love to move.
I actually heard that pole dancing class is pretty difficult.
Listen, you get a whole new respect for the ladies who, make their earnings that way. It's some serious. I was so sore. I've never been that sore. I've
Really?
taken all kinds of work. People talk about boxing workouts,
Right.
and those are good.
Right.
Ooh, but I'm not like trying to advocate for pole dancing or anything. I'm just saying, if you want a good workout, yeah. Yeah, I like it all pretty
So
much.
you saw Shirley Temple said
Yes.
you could do that.
Yeah.
And that was your initial, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And so you moved to LA
Yes.
to pursue that or just move to LA?
Well, there was a little route in the middle. I actually used to work for Home Shopping Network, like the QVC channel. Yes, right. And so shopping with Charmin. There was a station.
That's what I agreed to.
That was my thing, right? But there was a station in Colorado called Sky Merchant, and Home Shopping bought them out. I was a sophomore in college, and they asked if, they made me an offer. And at the time, I was going to a private school, the University of Denver, so my dad was all too happy to say, I think you should consider that offer.
Right.
But it meant moving to Florida, and I am a mama's girl, so that was a very challenging decision for me to make at 19.
Right.
But I am so glad that I did, and have just never looked back. But that's when I got to really, forced me, I think, to become a professional actor sooner.
Okay.
Because even though that was in Florida, and then there was a conflict of interest, but there was Universal Studios there in Florida. They were just building Universal there.
Okay.
And so I had gotten my first SAG jobs there in 19. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Hey, I ain't shame. 1989.
All right then.
Were you even born? No. I know a lot of y'all weren't. But it was with the new Leave It to Beaver.
Okay.
and Parenthood, the movie with Steve Martin. One
okay.
line in that movie, right? But it earned me my SAG card to the point to where I had to tell Home Shopping, I think I gotta go, because they wanted me to choose. It was, either be here or be there.
Right.
So, so I just jumped out on the ledge basically by 21. It was like, this is it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so you jumped out there and just decided you wanted to just go for a full stream. And when you first got started, what was the challenges and stuff that you came across when you first got into the business?
Understanding that it is a business
Right.
first. Understanding that your agent does not work for you. You
Right.
don't work for them. That it is a partnership.
Right.
Understanding that when
Wait. Speak that again,
How?
because people don't understand the relationship between your agent and yourself. It's always some. I get that call constantly. I can't tell you how many times of people wondering, Did she supposed to do this? I'm just like, that's your agent. She's got your best interests at heart. If you don't feel like that, you should find someone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or have a conversation. It's communication.
Right.
What surprises me is how many, and I've been there, how many actors are afraid to have a conversation with their agents.
They
It's like,
are.
It's like, is it okay to call? Well, I figure if anybody is getting 10% of my earnings, we ought to be able to have a conversation when
Right.
necessary, right? I'm
Right.
not saying hound them, but
Right.
it does need to feel like a partnership.
Right.
But those are some of the things you don't know early on. And so, you do things that kind of sabotage yourself and you just don't know. How to take a good headshot and understanding what that looks like. Nowadays, the things, this whole video, there was a time where you used to compete only with people in your region because that's who was there.
Right.
Now we're competing with the country because
Yeah.
of video submissions.
Right.
So that's a whole other thing to wrap your brain around.
Right.
So when you ask me what are some of the challenges that I've had, I could talk about them, but they're kind of outdated.
Right.
Because
Okay.
we have new
I get you.
challenges now,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We also have the challenges of doing a sitcom where we don't have a live audience anymore.
Right.
A lot
Right.
of people don't even know what that's like.
Right.
And then with the laugh, with the
With
joke
the
is
actual
real.
laugh.
If it ain't real, it ain't real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that kind of no laugh tracks. So it's just a new day, and we're always learning and evolving. And I'm grateful for that education, which is why I coach, because I feel like, as a coach that's in the game, as the game evolves, I will be able to help my clients evolve with it, with
Gotcha.
me,
Right.
So I'm teaching
Right.
on some real time. This is what I'm going through. Every lesson that I learn when I'm on set and I have any kind of something that happens, I
Right.
immediately go, okay, note taken. I got to share this with my people.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
And when you went, because you've done a plethora of work, Black Lightning, Expose, The Inspectors, which is an awesome show, by the way.
gracias.
Honey, Rise Up. Now, I got to ask you this question. How was it working with Tiana Taylor? I just want to know.
She is amazing. That entire cast, when I tell you, if somebody would have asked me right now what is one of my favorite projects, it would have to be that. Everybody was so humble. It was so much fun. We really became a family. We still keep in touch. Like,
Right.
everybody was so tight. And the fact that I got to go back to my first art, which
is
was
dance.
dancing. Yes.
Now, I'm
I was
gonna tell
like,
you.
what?
So you've been doing the videos of you working out and stuff like that. When you did that movie,
What happened?
your body was insane. Like, I was like, oh my God, Charmin.
You know, what did you? Now you making me blush and stuff. Okay.
You did your thing, man. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, we trained for it, but it was nice that they were just muscles that I got to wake up rather than trying to
Right.
become a dancer
Right.
in that short amount of time.
Right.
So yeah, that had a blast. That was so
And
much
so
fun.
that brings me to my next question. When you get ready to prepare for a film project, like one like that, how far into it do you go? Do you do the research? Do you go by whatever the job is, and then you train for that particular job? Like, what is your process in preparing for your character?
Well, it depends on what it is. If it's
Right.
television and it's a series that's already on, then the first rule of preparation would be to watch that show. right? And get a
Right.
feel for the tone and the characters and how they move. Like
Right.
Scandal, you know, that pacing is something, you know, they ain't chilling,
Right.
you know. And then
Right.
there may be Atlanta, where it's a little more, you know, it's lighthearted, et cetera, et cetera. So first thing would be to understand the tone.
Right.
So if it's a film and you don't understand that tone, perhaps you might want to look into, especially if it's a true story.
Right.
Well, that's kind of a no-brainer, right? If you're playing a real-life character,
Exactly.
you want to get as much information as
About
you
the
can.
person, right.
For the project that I am currently producing, and I know we'll talk more about it later, but this particular woman was trafficked, and then she became a trafficker, and now she's a vigilante. So for that, I've done research, like I've gone to the gun range and making sure that, you know, I know what I'm doing when I,
Right.
you know,
Right.
lift my arm. It looks
Right.
authentic. I also, my trainer is now, we're very specific about certain things and moves, et cetera. There's some martial arts that we'll be looking into, because it's important to me that it's believable that I could possibly take even you down. I know that's a big thing, but you know, if I hit you in the right,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
part,
yeah,
then
yeah.
so I want to
Wait,
know
are
that.
you challenging
No,
me
no, no,
right
no,
here
no,
on
no.
the air?
I mean, you know, there are some scenes that we've already considered putting you in. So
What?
just understand that, yeah, something like that. But yeah, so I'll go as deep as I'm allowed to go. I love it when I get to play a real life person, though,
Right.
and you know, just taking in their mannerisms, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I mean, the one thing I want every actor to hear me say, and if they've coached with me, they will definitely, they probably raising their hand in a high five. If it's one line or 100 lines,
Right.
I am going to coach you the exact same way.
Right.
And the research, the homework is exactly the same. There is no
Right.
difference.
Right.
There's no difference if it's a commercial, if it's theater, if it's television, if it's film. The work is the same. And when you do the work, you get the job, period.
Right. And that's big, because one of the things, like I told you, when I taking your class taught me a lot.
You about to mess up my coaching business.
I'm not
People gonna be
messing
like,
up
I
your
ain't messing
coaching
with her.
business,
She hard.
because
No,
I'm
I'm just
telling
kidding.
you,
I'm
you know, people ask me all the time. They ask me all the time, you know, where did I learn this from? How did I'm like, man, first of all, you need to take some classes. You know, I tell everybody, even Denzel Washington still take classes.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes, it's like working out.
Right. So you have to invest in yourself in this business. You know, you have to believe in yourself in this business. And if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I always stress that when I talk to people, because, you know, it's a lot of people here in Atlanta. And I say this, and correct me if I'm wrong. The saying is, in LA, everyone's an actor and they work part-time. In Atlanta, everybody works and they act part-time. And people in Atlanta don't take it as serious. This is the ongoing thing. And people in Atlanta don't take it as serious as people in Hollywood. And I hear that all the time, and that's why they bring LA actors to Atlanta. What's your take on that? How do you feel about that?
I could not have probably said it better. I think there are a great deal of actors in Atlanta that are beginning to take it more seriously as the work increases and they're understanding that they can really make a living.
Right.
I do notice more and more. In fact, you mentioned Dawn Halfkenny earlier, and I gave a shout out because that's my boo. But the project that she did, Tales, she had already booked it and contacted me to coach her, so that on set she could really do her best work.
Right.
That's some LA kind of mentality,
Right.
but she's from here.
Right.
So I want to give that shout out, because everybody in Atlanta does not just do it part-time.
Right.
Some people do invest in themselves, and they really do take it seriously and understand the platform that we have in front of us, and that if we go in there ready, then that momentum will
Right.
feed itself, and there'll be another and another and another,
Right.
rather than, you know, sitting in our laurels and going, okay, I got this one, you know what I'm saying, and then what's next? Right?
Right.
So that kind of work ethic, I think it's growing. I think there are more of us here in Atlanta that are beginning to embrace that. And the more we do collectively, y'all, the more work we will continue to get, and they won't feel so like they've got to go outside of Atlanta to get what they need.
And which is why I really love this show, and I wanted to do this show, because I've always wanted to give actors a platform so they can promote themselves. You know, one thing I learned when I went to LA, you know, I went to the film market in LA, and the guy who ran the whole film market, he had a conference, and I went and sat in that conference, and he asked one question that everybody was posing and couldn't answer. And he said, why does the people like Denzel Washington, Jamie Foxx, you know, all these big name actors, why do they make the money that they make? No one can name it. They were like, because they was a great actor? He's like, no. You know, one of the things he said was promoting us. They come with, it's what they come with that gets them paid. And he said one of the biggest things for an actor is promoting themselves. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, that was deep, because it took me to a different place to think. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not all about just acting, you know. And, you know, you look at TV and you see certain actors, you like, man, you know, they doing this and they doing that. How do they get there? You know, but you got people like Kevin Hart. He promotes all the, I'm talking about, as busy as he is always on social media.
Right,
and I'm just like, man, that is crazy. I know if he can do it, anybody else can do it.
Yes.
You know, but you get some people that's like, man, you know, I'm that's not with that act.
Listen,
you know?
we just had that conversation in the car on the way over here, and I was saying, you know, because the question was asked of me, do I prefer Instagram over Facebook? I said, you know what? They're both the same to me. They're both a necessary burden.
Right.
And I say that because there was a time where you just checked in when you've got bored and had some time on set, nothing else to do. Now it is necessary. It is something that we all live and all the everything is, you know, I don't even know all the terminology. What's the other one? The story. Yeah, the story, all that.
Right.
But it's necessary.
Yeah.
So I get it, you know, so we got to embrace it. We just have to.
And they've involved, you know, you got IGTV and all that. And I'm just like, man, every time you turn around, they add something else.
Something else.
And the first thing they ask you, now that I see that's really big, is, you know, how many likes do you got? How many followers do you have for this movie?
It's all a numbers game.
It's a numbers game.
Ooh, can I share something about that? Okay, let me make sure I don't give anything away. So I was asked to come in and coach a particular actor for a particular movie. And this particular person is actually not an actor. He's a rapper. And the director said to me it was the worst audition that he had ever seen. He went even into like showing me, giving me an example of how bad it was, right? So then I said to him, well, then why does this young man have the job? Help me understand.
I already know where this finna go.
Come on, go ahead and finish it for me. What did he say?
He got a lot of likes. He got, probably 500,000 or so?
Yes. Or however many, it doesn't matter, because you know how I am. So it doesn't matter to me, but that just was the likes matter.
Right.
And so they'd rather, you know, pay the money to get somebody in there to try to bring them up to par rather than hiring somebody who's ready.
Which brings me to the question of reality stars. You know,
where we going with that?
Because there are a lot of reality stars that are now getting roles in films and stuff. Now, at first, it was not liked really to be a reality star. But once all those followers and stuff started coming, all of a sudden they became top picks for films and stuff. And I think, and someone told me that the ratio is, if they got half a million or $1 million, at least half of them are going to buy the movie. And that right there in itself is a
dollars and cents game, right?
It's all about the money.
It's a business, right?
So how do you feel about reality TV show? Do you feel like it's definitely evolved from where it used to be? But how do you look at it as a professional actor compared to reality stardom?
I am all about anybody making their paper, however they're going to get their paper.
Amen.
Like, I am not hating on any of that.
Right.
I've been approached to do reality TV several, you know, many different times, and it's not the platform for me. Just because I'm a very private person, and you know, when I go home, people think my life is so glamorous, but when I shut things off, when I shut the brand off, I'm chilling. I'm at home. My favorite thing to do is eat in the bed at night and watch movies. I know that's why people be like, how you keep your weight down? Don't follow my regimen. But my point is, if that's what people want to do, I get it. The numbers thing, we have to embrace it because it's a business. So it goes back to what you said about the importance of promoting yourself. So we then, as professional actors, have to just kind of play the game both ways, right?
Exactly.
Because we have the skills, so then we do the promoting. And if you don't have promoting, then get some help. Hire someone. I have help. I don't like to do the social media stuff, so I don't do it. People get mad at me too. Like, did you see my post? Y'all need to understand, most of my posts, none of my posts do I post. Now, I will answer you, though. If you get a like or a comment, that's me. But I'm not posting it. But the point is, because I understand that I am competing with the reality show numbers, we have to up our game so that we
Right.
get those numbers up, too.
Right.
As well as actors,
Mm-hmm.
produce your own stuff.
Yeah.
Come now.
Yeah.
Hey, we got resources, right?
I've been
So we don't have to, there's
producing
no
my behind
reason
off.
to wait anymore. So all that
Right.
complaining about reality stars are getting this and they're getting that. First, let me say this. I have several reality star clients, and there are those who do take the craft seriously. They don't want to get on camera and look foolish. So
Right.
they will hire somebody like me to say, hey, can you help me as an actor? Love and respect that. Anybody who wants to do it right, I love and respect that.
Right.
So, and it's like comedians or athletes, same thing. All those people who this ain't your thing,
Right.
then just get some help. That's all I say. As long as they, respect what we have put so many years into
Right.
learning,
Right.
to at least get a little lesson so that you can represent all of us well,
Right.
then do whatever you got to do to make your money. But actors, stop complaining about them getting your jobs, because what's theirs is theirs. And then just go ahead and produce, create. We got so many
Yeah.
outlets,
Oh,
so
yeah.
many people
Oh,
need
yeah.
content right now. There is no reason.
Oh, I'm saying that was taking me to my next
Okay,
question.
sorry.
That was bringing me to my next question. So, of course, it's evolving. Now everything is going stream. They're streaming. Netflix is now one of the biggest multi-billion-dollar companies in the world. Some of the best TV series are on there. I'm Netflix.
Netflix,
all
Hulu,
day.
Amazon, Prime,
Yeah.
Facebook
Right.
now. They got me. Everybody is
Right. So how do you feel about that? Because, back in the day, it was all about being, getting that big major motion picture film deal, all over the world. I still go to the movies. I
Me
still see,
too. Yes.
I love to go to the movies and see
Yes.
those things. How do you feel, to you, what is the difference? Like, how do you feel about the change? Is it better or is it harder than before?
As far as what, content?
As far as the content, as far as trying to get that major motion picture deal compared to streaming on Netflix, getting a Netflix deal.
Now, are you talking about as a producer or an actor?
as a producer?
Well, as a producer, it's definitely better because we've just got way more outlets and people,
People to
content
choose from.
is king right now.
Right.
Yeah, people to choose from. The project that Free that we're working on now, the human trafficking project, we are certain that there will be a bidding war for what we're going to get to choose
Right.
who we want to do this with
Right.
because it's
And nowadays, that's what you want. You want
that's
that
what
bidding
you
war.
want,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so for actors, I don't see how there would be a downside for us because that just means more work, more
Right.
avenues for work. And when you look at the Insecure, right,
Yeah.
Lisa, and shows
Yeah.
like that,
Right.
and when you look at shows that are just done with an iPhone, right? This is what I'm saying. When I say actors create your own stuff, I'm not talking about you got to have a crew with $100,000 budget.
Right.
I'm talking about get your friends together, get your ideas together, and start putting some stuff out there because that's what's happening. That's what, like you
Right.
said, everything's
Yeah.
digital now.
Yeah.
Right? So when
Yeah.
I say there are no excuses and that new iPhone 10, wait, and then
Yeah.
I heard the Red got a
Yeah.
phone coming out. Have you
Yeah.
seen that?
They do. And what's funny is I went online and I saw a movie that was shot completely with the iPhone. And it was better.
Come
The
now.
quality and stuff was better
on.
than the movie that you go to the theater
is
and
what
see.
I'm saying.
I said, this is crazy. I'm talking about all the animation. I said, how did he do this with an iPhone? It was
You
amazing.
feel me?
It
No
was
excuse,
amazing.
Right?
No excuse.
Only thing in your way is you.
Right. It had 1 million followers on his. I mean, the TV show he was doing had followers like you would never believe. So if he decided to put that or distribute that, get distribution for that, they're going to look at those
There it
followers
is. It's
and boom.
numbers. Back to the
It's
business.
all about the numbers. It's all about the
Back
numbers.
to the business.
So for you, what is your biggest fears when it comes to the whole, industry, acting, producing? Like, what are some of the biggest fears that you may have, if you have any?
As a professional, it used to be whether or not I had the talent or whether or not I could be interesting enough to be the lead in a series. That used to be my fear.
Well, you've surpassed that. Haven't you?
I don't fear that anymore. But I will say this: it's not something that I'd say probably within only maybe about the last 3 to 5 years have I really embraced that. Yeah, we could do this. I think that,
Right.
and I say that with all humility, but just I've lived, I've lived a lot, and all of that matters. And I tell actors with everything that happens, it really is all good, even when it seems like it's not, because it's something that we can go back later and use, and that mold and that clay as we're making, all of that is what makes you interesting. And if you're willing to be naked in front of the camera, not literally, well, that's a whole other thing if you are. He keeps looking like, wait, I thought she said no pole. Listen, sir, what I mean is emotionally naked. If you are willing to do that, which means sharing your life story through the characters, right? If you're willing to do that, that's what makes you an interesting artist. And I feel like all of what life has taught me and brought me in my humble 50 years of being on this earth has given me enough to be interesting enough to carry a series. So that was a fear, and it is not anymore. And I share it that way because I think it's important for all of us to start embracing that, because you will not be a leading lady or a leading man until you see it first.
Right. That's absolutely true.
Right.
Now, that was your fears up to now, because we talked about the past, and you said that's all changed. What are your biggest challenges now, today?
You reach a certain level, and I, again, like I said, as a mature woman in the business, my level of competition are with celebrities whose names may have more following, right? Or just are bigger. They've been doing it longer. And again, like I said, what's yours is yours, et cetera. So I think for me, which goes back to me saying produce your own stuff, I've kind of hit a place where it's between me and the name sometimes, and I'm a producer, so I get the importance of using the name, right? I've had to make that choice myself. So again, no hate on that.
Right.
But because I know I'm ready to be a leading lady, then I have to take charge of it and go ahead and produce that myself.
Absolutely.
So that's where we are right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charmin, you are you spitting some things out right now. Who is your biggest role model in this industry?
Well, my biggest role model, first and foremost, is my mommy. And she's not in this industry, but I have to say that because I hear so many people speak of unsupportive parents, or, they just question this whole art thing, this acting thing, this, trying to be an artist,
They do.
And my mother never questioned it. She's always just supported it. And so to have that, I got it. Like, that's my biggest shout out. And my siblings, everybody has just been on the team, but that comes from our leader, my mama, right? Who's just, when my brothers had basketball games, we all had to go. When I had dance recitals, they all had to come. It's just, that's
really?
how we were raised, to support each other. So that has been the biggest thing to carry me. But people like Debbie Allen, because she's the dancer, the actor, you know what I'm saying, like that. She's definitely one of my biggest role models. And of course, her sister, Felicia Rashad. But there's some dope young ladies that are getting it done too, like the Isas and Shonda Rhimes. Oh my goodness, Mara Brock Akil, and I could go on, and I don't mean to just mention black women, but I mention them because they are my likeness, and when I need to look to something for a goal to see where I can get, when I talk about body goals, we talking about Nicole Murphy. Yeah, that's what keeps me in the gym.
That woman, the body is insane.
Exactly. So there's always, these women all keep me reaching for more. So yeah, they all do it for me.
Okay. And so when in this industry, you got your support. You face your challenges, you've conquered your fears. Like, what is your ultimate goal in everything? Like, what is your, I'm finally here moment?
Oh, never. There won't be that. Then you die.
Right? Yes.
Yes. If you are constantly growing and evolving, then there's always more to want.
Right.
But
and this industry gives you more.
And it gives you more, which is wonderful. No 2 days look alike.
Right.
Right. So yeah. what I want, I'm doing. I feel like I'm living my dream right now. And the dream just keeps evolving. And as it evolves, what I want to do is help more people bring their dreams to fruition. So I love hiring people. I love being able to pick up the phone and say, are you available? And we got a budget. Come to work, right? I love that. That's why Total Package, I know you said Complete Package. We had to change the name. But it's Total Package Entertainment. But that's what it was. That's why it came into fruition. And that's the name Total, because I want to be able to, have it all, everything that has to do with art under that umbrella. I would like to be able to pull our resources together and get it done, from the stage, the page to the stage, right? Yeah, that part. Right? So, there's a lot going on.
Now, being on all these different sets, working with all these different named actors, things like that, what is one of the most shocking moments you've had on set that just blew you away? It could be anything, like, dealing with a certain actor, dealing with a certain scene, something that just caused you to just look at things totally different. Like, what's your most memorable, most shocking moment?
Oh, those are different. Okay, shocking.
Let's say shocking.
Let's do shocking first. One of my most shocking moments was when I worked on a soap opera, and nobody spoke to me.
Really?
Yeah, it was the weirdest, creepiest thing ever. And I'm not going to say the name of the soap because I don't do that. But, I'm a real people person, and
right.
I do my best to have my happy face on when I go to work because I'm happy to be working, right? So it was just really interesting that they had this, like, group meeting. Well, first, even walking on the stage, okay, nobody I'm looking lost, clearly, right? And nobody kind of asked me what I needed, where you going? And so, okay, fine, that's fine. Maybe they just think I belong here. And then they have this meeting on stage where all the actors gather together, and they're all together. And all of the other cast members were a lot lighter than me. So I'm sure I stood out. And yet no one just kind of was like, hi, nice to meet you. Welcome to our set.
Right.
So, it was really strange. And it felt like, do y'all not see me? And then the scene that I did was me on the phone with another actor giving him bad news and blah, blah, blah. So that actor was nowhere around.
Right.
It was just me and the phone and the AD. And it was the weirdest experience ever. But they spelled my name right on the check and it went through. End of story. All is well.
What was the most memorable moment?
Wow.
I'm sure you have several.
I do. And I've had a chance to work with some awesome legends like Dick Van Dyke and Archie Bunker.
Oh, wow.
And, just some people that I watched as a kid that that will always be awesome to me. But I'm going to go back to Honey right now because I don't know if it's because it's fresh, but I think because it allowed me to pull so many things together as an artist, and everybody was just so wonderful. And then they made me do a solo. And I'm going to tell you, I was extremely insecure about that because these little dancers on that Let Tiana Tell, they real dancers.
Yeah,
That's what, I just did that for fun. What I mean is, that was all they did, right? And them little, you talk about bodies, them little heart bodies, them little children half my age. I say,
you cannot tell the difference between you and them in that movie.
Okay, God bless you for that. Okay, but I'm saying as an actor on the set, and you asking me about moments and challenges, and so to complete that was a big deal for me to get on the other side of that and to feel decent about it.
How long was the training for that process for you to prepare for that project?
Maybe 2 weeks.
Okay.
Maybe 2 weeks, but fortunately, I keep dancing. I take a couple of dance classes a month at least, just for fun. So it wasn't too. But I did take on a private coach. I did hire a private dance coach just for me to just come because I didn't know what they were going to throw at me. So for those 2 weeks, I went hard, like 3 days a week with just everything: African dance, modern dance, hip hop. So that I could be kind of ready for whatever they threw at me.
So, man, that's crazy. So basically you're saying you're not just an actor, you're a dancer. Because I'm telling you, I saw the movie, and
Thanks, Wardy.
your dancing was like, because first of all, you had to bring it for the role because you was the teacher. So,
But ironically, I didn't have to dance for the audition. I know
Really?
you would think they'd bring you in and make. I know, which was another reason I was a little nervous. I mean, it's on my resume that I dance, but
Right.
people put stuff. Y'all don't lie on your resume.
Oh,
Which
yeah,
I
'cause
did.
they gonna
Don't do
challenge
it.
you on
Hey,
they're gonna challenge you.
Yes.
Because I have on my resume rapper. Because I did.
Come
I
on,
used to
spit
rap back
something.
in
Give me
the
a little.
day.
Come on,
Wait,
y'all.
see, you don't want
Come
me to
on,
do
come
that.
on,
See,
come
I do
on.
that now. You go crazy. You go crazy.
Nah, it's
I don't want you to be crazy. But I did. I performed back in the day and stuff like that. And so I went to an audition one time. The guy saw that. He asked me, he said, spit something. I was just like, but I did it. And he was like, okay.
Right,
You
right,
know.
yes.
So they do look at that. They definitely look at that. And they will test you on that at times. So when you went to an audition, you don't really audition as much.
Yes, I do.
You still-
I audition for every.
they still-
Hey, y'all, don't get it twisted. Well, yes, I still audition.
Okay.
Yes,
But, okay.
for all of them.
So
So if anybody wants to make me an offer, I'm open to receiving. that.
What was your most difficult audition to take? That they just had you go through hoops and bounds to.
Most difficult okay, so I just did the Black Lightning and I had to sign.
Okay.
And again, something that I did years ago for the deaf for my church in Los Angeles when I lived there. I took a sign language class. So talk about having to dust that off. So the lovely Jackie Birch, casting director that many of us may know, actually signs as well and spent an hour with me going over some things. Then, of course, I went online and worked on some stuff. And then the actor that I worked opposite, he really is deaf. So he and I got together and also spent some hours just kind of communicating via sign language. So that probably just, again, because it's fresh, was definitely another one of those challenges that it's like, ooh, reach in the archives, dust some stuff off, and okay.
So how important do you think it is for people to get, experience in all those different arts and stuff?
Well, I'm going to say this. Parents first, because we have a lot of people that ask me about their children and acting and the things that they allow them to do. One of the number one pieces of advice that I offer for parents that I think adults should probably wrap their brain around too is to keep living your life, to keep doing things, to have other activities that you are involved in. Do not let acting be the end all for your child or for yourself. But for your child, I say that because that is how, they're going to evolve and change, and they're not going to be a child actor always. And then there's that weird tween age, right? And as a producer, I'm telling you, if I can get somebody who's 18 to play 15, I'm getting them because I ain't got to deal with mama now. That's an adult, right? So then there's that, and then they start judging themselves and going, well, I'm not working, and so maybe I'm not good anymore. So you got to find other things that you're good at, other things that give you pleasure, so that when that thing ain't happening, you're not basing your self-worth on that one thing.
Wow.
And it comes back to benefit you. So now something sign language, people ask me when I got a divorce, I started signing. They were like, well, why? Is there anybody deaf in your family? No, it's just something I've always wanted to do. Lo and behold, here we are with the opportunity to use it, right?
Right.
So keep living your life. That's really it. People go, I don't want to go on vacation because I might get an audition. No, go on vacation and you will get an audition. Make sure you bring your camera. Thank God for videotapes, right? And life keeps going.
Right. Because that's happened to me before. I had an audition. I was out of town, and they said, can you get this? I said, hold on. Got my iPhone, did that audition, sent it in, loved it. And everything was good to go.
Exactly.
Now, how important do you think it is? And I say this because so many people, they don't understand the importance of taking classes and understanding the real true meaning of what acting is. Can you shed some light on that? How important is it to take classes and to understand the business of being an actor?
Okay, well, where classes are concerned, let me see if I can simplify this. Everybody understands bodybuilding, right?
Right.
So if I say that I want to be a professional bodybuilder, but I am not going to go to the gym, how far do you think I'm going to get in that profession?
Not far at all.
It's that simple.
Right.
You can't want something and not be willing to get the education, the muscle, to build the muscle for it.
Right.
Because it does end up becoming a muscle, which is why the Denzels and the Sam Jacksons and the Wardell Richardsons stay in class, because we understand that it's a muscle.
Right.
And like any other muscle, as soon as you stop using it, you get that that muscle atrophy, right? And it stops looking the same way. It stops having the same strength. It stops having the same impact. So you got to just decide, actors, if it's a hobby for you, then, take a class every summer and then go have some fun with commercials or a play. And if it's something you really want to do, then if you're not in a play where you're keeping that muscle strong, or you're not on a series or producing your own work, then you need to be in somebody's class.
Okay.
Period.
Right. And being in classes, there are a lot of different, I want you to touch on this, because so many people are having classes. How is a good way, from your perspective, that people can go and understand which classes they should take? Like, how do they go about trying to find a good teacher, a good acting coach? What is your suggestions on that?
Oh, I wish I had the answer that I know you're looking for. Okay, let me speak from my perspective as a coach. I have gone strictly private as far as private coaching for a couple of reasons. One, because my schedule won't allow me to commit to a 6-week or 8-week session, right?
Correct.
But two, and this is the main reason, because I think that every actor has different needs. And even in my small group settings, because even in a class setting, I didn't like to go more than 10 people.
Right.
If I did 12 or more, there would be another instructor, right? Because again, what you need is not what he needs, is not what she needs. And if we've only got 2.5, maybe even 3 hours, that's still 10 people. You do the math. How much time am I really giving you on your needs? Right? And I'm just all about getting your money's worth. I don't want your money if you can't walk away and feel like you are a better actor as a result of working with me. So I do privates for that reason. So I can give you a 1 full hour of my undivided attention that's specific to your needs.
Right.
So if you can find a class that is specific. Now, what you need, I don't know. You'd have to figure that out. If it's audition technique, perhaps you feel like you've got a sense of scene study, meaning when you get the job, you know what to do. But for some of us, the challenge is getting the job. We freak out with auditions. We kind of throw, we don't know what is exactly the formula. Thing. That's the biggest thing, right? So I spend a lot of time teaching that. But again, your strengths in auditioning are not going to be hers or his. So that's my way. But there may be an audition technique class that someone is offering. I suggest auditing or finding out, getting some kind of feedback from other members to find out if that technique will work for you.
Right.
So I guess it's figuring out what you need and then trying to vet some classes that will work out for you. I got this smile because, I've tried to refer people to different places, and the feedback is always interesting. Some like it, some don't. And it's like a photographer, right? Somebody who vibes with you may not be vibing with me. Somebody who likes you well may not like, so you gotta, it's like an agent.
Right.
Again, right? My agent may be excited about me. They're not so excited about you. Vice versa, right? You got to go and build those relationships, however that is. And so what you don't want to do is just sit and say, well, I can't find the right coach, so I'm not going to take a class.
Right.
So you might have to spend a couple of dollars and then go, okay, I don't want to go back there. Or you spend a couple of okay, this is where I want to be.
Right.
But it's a business. Be willing to invest and see what happens.
Right. And see, me, I personally like a hard coach. You know what I mean? Somebody who's going to be extremely difficult. Well, not difficult, but hard.
Honest.
Hard on me. Honest, right.
Honest.
And I remember when I was taking your class.
Here you go.
I got to say this because it's so memorable to me. But you gave us some homework. I don't know if you remember this. You gave us some homework, and I didn't get to do my homework.
Oh.
And I came.
I don't remember, but I know where this is going.
I came to class. You asked me did I do my homework. I said no, and you said why. I gave you my reason why, and you went off of me like you went in on me, and I was like,
I didn't throw anything though, right?
No, you didn't throw anything, but you definitely let me have it. and after that, I did my homework. But I like that because you were serious, and I knew that you cared about my well-being in this industry, because you were really hard on me, and I like that. You know what I mean?
Well, can I just jump in and say a little bit about why
Okay.
that matters to me so much? It speaks to what you mentioned earlier about Atlanta actors versus LA actors.
Right.
Right? There are some, Ivana Chubbuck, there are some coaches in LA that would have asked you to go home
Yeah.
because you did not have your homework. They wouldn't
Right.
even taken the time to have, and this is important to me because I am a director and producer. So for me, your work habits are your work habits. How you
Right.
do anything is how you do everything. So that says to me, and I tell my clients this all the time, you come to me unprepared, that says to me,
Right.
I can't cast you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that means I don't know what you're going to bring
What
on
you
my
gonna
set,
bring,
and I don't
right.
have time to run your lines with you. Right?
Right.
So that's the reason that is one of my biggest pet peeves, if you will, is being on time and having your homework. As actors, our job is the lines. That's your job.
Yes.
You got to know those words. So when I
Right.
see, I'm not talking about having your sides to get a review. I'm talking about when people really don't know their lines, and that's slowing up production.
Right. Yeah.
Those people I usually don't work with a second time.
Right.
So I'd rather, as your coach, prepare you for that so that you can have the kind of work ethic that makes people go, yep, what I know about Wardell is he's going to come prepared every
Right.
time.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's where that
Right.
comes from, y'all. So I ain't that mean. I'm just.
Well, I mean, wait, Penny has a question. Oh, 5 minutes. Okay, so one of the things that I will say, because not only are you teaching people, the act of acting and auditioning and stuff like that. That's why I said earlier, you care about their well-being.
I do.
And you're so passionate about it. And because you're so passionate about it, I can see why you have progressed. Because if you care about us so much, you know what I mean? You care about everything that you do following this whole career. And that says a lot. You know what I mean? Because even now, you as great, all the things you're doing, you made time to come down and
Of
interview,
course.
Yes. With me, and it just made me so happy because I had people, you won't believe all the people, oh my gosh, Sharma's coming on the show, I'll be watching,
so flattered. Thank you.
Penny was happy, she was like, she's coming on, she said, I'm happy like I'm interviewing her, and it shows like, cause you've never been the type of actor that has not. And I'm going to say that because I know some actors who started from a certain level. They started doing really well. And now they're a whole different type of person. You know what I'm saying?
I do,
you know
sir.
what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
So I ran across several of those people. And I'm just like, wow, man. Like, and the funny part is you don't know how to circle goals in Atlanta. Because, that's happened to me before. Somebody started acting Hollywood on me and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I got a call, said, hey, such and such. I was like, yeah. Well, we talking about shooting this big movie. We got this budget, blah, blah, blah. We talking about bringing them on. What do you think? And I was like,
Ooh, speak on it. Speak on it.
and that's why I
Yes.
was just like, you have to stay humble in this business. I preach that all the time because you don't know who knows who. You don't
The
know.
PA today will be the executive producer tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I tell people that all the time.
Absolutely.
Be kind to everyone.
Absolutely. And there's people that are doing big things right now that I gave the okay on, and they got the role, because I've been doing it,
I understand, but we got to keep on giving.
I just never say anything.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I just say, yeah,
That's
go
right.
ahead, do their thing,
Yeah.
And I tell, and it's so important, and I say this to everybody who's listening, stay humble in this business, believe that, whoever you talk to, don't, treat them like they're important. I don't care who.
Because we all are important.
We are important, right.
Everyone. Yes.
Right, and nobody's no better than the
No.
other person.
No.
I met a guy from L.A. He's a big time actor, or whatever, and he was at an award show, and he was so rude. Like he was rude. He didn't want to interview with nobody. He didn't. And I was like, wow, this guy, and the people was it just went around like clockwork. Everybody was talking about through the whole thing.
People teach us what not to do, too.
They do.
You know what
They
I'm saying?
do.
And I
They
take in
do.
all the lessons. Yes.
They do.
Yes.
And with that, what is your take on that? How important is it for people to stay humble and be humble in this industry?
Well, the thing about it is you got to decide, would you rather be working at, and I'm not knocking Target, Walmart, Bank of America. If that's where you working and you making a living, bless you. But if you're an actor and that's what you want to do, and you are being allowed to act in any capacity,
Right.
then you ought to be awfully thankful and grateful every time you get to walk out of your door and do what you love to do. And that's why, for me, whether it's a paid gig or a non-paid gig, if you love it, your work ethic is the same. So when people say, well, yeah, I'll get there when I get there. This is a free gig. I won't hire you when I have a paid gig because you're showing me who you are. It doesn't matter. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Right.
So if you respect what you do, you will show that in everything that you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. On that note, we are going to take a break. We'll be back in 10, in which we're going to ask Sharman about several of her, debuts and stuff in film and people she worked with and stuff like that. So we will be right back in 5 minutes. See you soon on Wcegwood, the Hollywood of the South.